All men should watch this video. Here's why a woman pushes you away when she wants you most. Old Stoic wisdom. The greatest happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved. Loved for ourselves, or rather, loved in spite of ourselves. Victor Hugo. Ever found yourself wondering why a woman who once seemed so into you suddenly pulls away? One moment she's warm, texting back, opening up. The next, distant, unresponsive, and almost cold. Here's what most men miss. Her distance isn't always a sign of fading interest. In fact, it might be the exact opposite. When a woman starts to develop deep feelings, especially feelings she wasn't prepared for, it can trigger something powerful fear. Fear of vulnerability, fear of getting hurt again, fear of losing control. And so, she retreats. Not because she doesn't want you, but because she wants you more than she expected to. It sounds counterintuitive, but this behavior is rooted in emotional protection, not rejection. Modern men often misread this moment. She stops calling, she must be seeing someone else. She pulls back emotionally, she must be done. But sometimes, her silence is a scream, not for attention, but for understanding. Here's the truth. Many women, especially those who've been burned before, have learned to associate closeness with risk. So when things start to feel real, they backpedal, not to push you away forever, but to see how you respond. Do you chase? Do you get needy, angry, or demanding? Or do you stay grounded, calm, patient, confident? In this video, we're breaking down why women often pull away just when they're falling for you, how to recognize the deeper signals behind her silence, what to do and what not to do when she withdraws. Once you understand this dynamic, you stop taking things personally, you stop reacting, and you start showing up like the man she hoped you'd be all along, strong, secure, and emotionally intelligent. Watch closely. This lesson could save you from sabotaging a connection that's more powerful than you think. Number 1, she fears losing control. Here's the truth wrapped in old Stoic wisdom. When a woman pulls away just as she starts wanting you most, it's not rejection, it's fear. Not fear of you, but fear of losing control over her own emotions. A woman, especially one who's built emotional armor from past disappointments, feels threatened not by your actions, but by her own feelings. When you show up consistently, speak to her with intention, make her feel safe, ironically, that's when the panic creeps in. Because now she's thinking about you too much. Now she's wondering if you're the one who could break her. And, to someone who values control, vulnerability feels like danger. That's the paradox. Your presence, your dependability, your masculine steadiness awaken her longing and her defense systems. So she creates space, not because you did something wrong, but because she's slipping. Emotionally. And the more she starts to care, the more that ancient instinct whispers, pull back before you fall. That Stoic principles in motion, her effort to re-establish inner balance by retreating. You might see it play out like this. You've been texting her, sharing laughs, having real conversations. Then suddenly, silence. Her replies slow down, her warmth cools, and her interest seems to vanish overnight. And you're left in the fog thinking, what did I do? But pause. Breathe. You didn't mess up. What you're witnessing is her struggle for emotional self-preservation. She's trying to restore a sense of control that your connection disrupted. And here's where most men blow it. They chase, they press, they demand clarity. That only confirms her worst fear: I let him too close. But the man with the iron mind, the man rooted in Stoic principles, doesn't flinch. He doesn't beg, question, or react. He stays calm. He keeps the same energy that drew her in from the start. That's old Stoic wisdom, knowing that sometimes not doing is the most powerful thing you can do. When she sees that your center isn't shaken, that you're not trying to pull her back or guilt her into closeness, that's when she'll feel safe again. That's when she'll lean in, because she realizes you're not a threat to her independence. You're a refuge from the chaos she's learned to expect. So don't chase. Be still, be solid, be the man who doesn't need to control a thing to be in control. That is how you become unforgettable. Number 2, too much emotion scares. Here's a hard truth most men miss, and it'll save you a world of confusion. Just because a woman feels something deeply doesn't mean she's ready to embrace it. In fact, the deeper the emotion, the more likely she is to pull away. Sounds backwards, doesn't it? You're thinking, but if she likes me, really likes me, shouldn't that bring us closer? Not always. Here's the part no one teaches you, not in school, not in movies, and certainly not in those shallow dating books. When a woman starts catching real feelings, she doesn't always feel excited. She often feels afraid. Why? Because true emotion is a threat to her control. Let me explain. Most men think love works like a faucet. You turn on the warm feelings, and the relationship flows naturally. But with many women, especially those with some emotional scars, the process isn't so linear. Surface, level flirting. She's fine, light affection, totally in control. But when things get real, when she starts picturing herself wrapped in your arms at 2 a.m, or building a life with you, that's when the emotional current sweeps in. And guess what? It terrifies her. Because now she's vulnerable, now you matter, and if you matter, you can hurt her. This isn't manipulation. It's not a test. It's an unconscious retreat from what feels like danger. She might say she's too busy. She might nitpick things about you that didn't matter yesterday. She might even vanish behind polite excuses. But the real issue, she feels too much and doesn't trust those emotions. This is where your mastery of practical stoicism becomes not just helpful, but essential. If you respond to her distance by getting emotional yourself, panicking, chasing, demanding clarity, you only amplify her fear. Now both of you are off balance. And in that storm, she doesn't see you as a rock. She sees you as a wave crashing beside her. That's why the Stoic rules matter. Not to become cold, not to play hard to get, but to show her something rare, a man with inner peace. Don't take her retreat personally. Be calm, be still, be unshakable. That's leadership. That's trust. That's what tells her you're safe to feel what you feel. I'm not going anywhere, and I won't get swept away with you. It's not weakness that drives her away. It's emotional overload. So your job is not to fight her storm. It's to be the lighthouse. This is one of the paths of wisdom. It's not about charm or seduction. It's about presence. If you master this, she won't run. She'll lean in. Because when a woman senses she can feel deeply and still be held by your steadiness, she begins to trust herself again. And you've become the man she didn't know she could trust. Until now. That's not just emotional intelligence. That's Stoic power. And that, my friend, is how you walk the paths of wisdom with patience, strength, and an open heart that doesn't flinch in the face of her fear. Let her feel you lead. Not with force, but with presence. That's the old Stoic way. And it still works. If you found this insight valuable, like the video, share it with a brother who needs to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe for more grounded, timeless wisdom. Comment to remember, my calm is her safety. This simple affirmation reminds you that your steadiness is not just strength, it's leadership. Drop it in the comments to show you understand the deeper game. Number 3, she's testing your strength. Let me be clear. When a woman pulls away at the exact moment things feel deep and real, it's not rejection. It's a test of your strength, your stability, your presence under pressure. She isn't asking for reassurance. She's checking to see if your masculinity is real or if it crumbles under stress. When she goes quiet, when her warmth fades, when she pulls back, don't chase, don't panic, don't plead. That's what most men do, and most men fail. This is where you must win, not with words, but with stillness. She wants to see if you're ruled by emotion or guided by something deeper, discipline, awareness, control. She wants to see if you're a man rooted in stoicism, a man like Epictetus described, one who does not allow outside forces to shake his inner peace. No man is free who is not master of himself. That's the Stoic code. And when you're being tested, that's your proving ground. Don't flinch, don't explain, don't react. Instead, stand firm. Let her feel your calm. Let your silence echo louder than any argument. That's how you win. You win with dignity. You win with detachment. You win by showing that your value doesn't shrink when someone questions it. Your strength isn't proven when things are easy. It's forged in moments of distance, discomfort, and emotional fog. That's where real men rise. That's where stoicism wins. But let's go even deeper. Sometimes she pulls away because it's not about you at all. It's about her past. Her pain is talking. Her trauma is in control. You've stepped into a battlefield littered with ghosts of men who came before you. Men who broke trust, abused love, or disappeared when it mattered. So now, even when she wants to lean in, fear grips her throat. And if you react with desperation or anger, you confirm every worst-case scenario playing in her mind. Don't become another emotional weapon. Instead, lead with peace. Be the opposite of chaos. Be solid, not passive. Patient, not weak. Assertive, not controlling. Remember what Epictetus taught. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is your moment to be the exception. This is how Stoicism wins in modern life, not by dominating others, but by mastering yourself. Be the calm in her storm. Let her watch you and realize, this man isn't like the rest. You don't demand access to her heart. You earn trust with consistency. You don't flinch under silence. You let it pass. And when she sees you hold your ground with grace, something rare happens. Her fear begins to lose power. Her heart starts to breathe again. And slowly, if she's ready, she'll come back. Not because you chased her, but because she saw a man who knows his worth, his power, and his peace. That's how you win. That's how you master life. That's how Stoicism wins. Let every man hearing this remember, don't chase, don't fold, don't beg. Stand tall, lead with strength, protect your peace. And if you've ever been in that silence and didn't flinch, say it with pride, I lead with peace. Number 4, her past trauma is in charge. Let's get real. Sometimes, the woman who pulls away the hardest is the one who wants you the most. And if that's confusing, good. It means you care enough to want to understand. But here's the thing, when she shuts down, goes quiet, or acts like she couldn't care less, it's not always about you. Don't take it personally. That distance, that wall, that shift in energy, it's not about your words, your actions, or your vibe. It's about the ghost she hasn't made peace with yet. Old scars, old betrayals, deep cuts from times she opened her heart too wide and got burned hard for it. That damage doesn't vanish with time. It settles in, makes a home in her nervous system, and when things start to feel too real, her past takes the wheel. Her old trauma isn't just whispering to her, it's screaming, and suddenly it's calling all the shots. Picture this, the chemistry's fire, the conversation's flowing. She laughs, she leans in, and there's a spark. You're both dancing on the edge of something powerful. But just as she starts to let go, boom, she flinches. You see her pull back, her voice tightens, the light dims in her eyes, and you're left wondering, what just happened? That's the moment where most men stumble. They rush in with logic, try to fix it, promise they're not like the last guy, but stop. Don't. This isn't a problem for you to solve. It's not about proving your worth. It's about respecting the part of her that doesn't trust happiness yet. This is where Stoic principles matter most. You don't react with panic. You don't chase. You don't beg. Be calm. Be grounded. Be the iron mind in the storm. Because when you stay centered, you're showing her something that no sweet talk ever could, that you're not here to storm her defenses. You're here to honor them. This is the old Stoic wisdom that most men never hear. Don't mistake emotional resistance for rejection. She's not pushing you away because you did something wrong. She's trying to protect herself from the pain that once broke her. And if you meet that moment with anger, desperation, or pressure, you confirm every fear she's fighting to suppress. You become a threat, not a refuge. But if you hold steady, if you stay firm without being forceful, you become the exception. The rare man who knows that strength doesn't shout, it listens. That patience is power. that being a man of substance doesn't mean waiting on her. It means standing tall while she finds her footing. Don't try to control the outcome. Don't make her pain your project. Just be there, consistent, clear, and whole. Understand this trauma isn't logical. It doesn't play fair. But when you understand where that push is coming from, you stop blaming yourself. You stop chasing validation. You become grounded in your own value. That's the true iron mind. Staying rooted in who you are, no matter how shaky the world around you feels. And yes, you must still have boundaries. You are not her emotional sponge. Compassion does not mean self-destruction. There is a hard line between support and sacrifice. But if you can show up as a man who leads with peace, who doesn't buckle under emotional pressure, who embodies the quiet, unshakable grace of old Stoic wisdom, she will feel that. And if she's ready, slowly, her guard may come down. She may still test you. She may still retreat. But every time you don't flinch, don't fold, don't run, you show her something rare. Not all men leave when things get real. And that, my friend, is how you offer healing without saying a word. That is how Stoic principles breathe life into connection. That is how you show her the past doesn't have to win. Ever been there, where love felt possible, but fear tried to shut the door. If you've stood strong in that storm, drop it in the comments. I lead with peace. If this message hit home, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure to subscribe for more powerful insights. Let's grow together. Comment to remember, I lead with peace. Number 5. Closeness feels like danger. Let's break it down. You're doing everything right. You show up, you're steady, you speak with care. She responds, she laughs. You start to feel something real forming. Then, silence. Her energy shifts. Texts slow to a crawl. Her voice goes colder than a Montana winter. What the hell happened? Here's what most men miss. Closeness doesn't always feel like comfort to a woman. Sometimes, closeness feels like danger. Yes, danger. Not because of you, but because real connection stirs up old ghosts, memories of betrayal, abandonment, the kind of heartbreak that doesn't just break the heart, it rewires the nervous system. Let's hit a metaphor from the old paths of wisdom. A woman who has been burned by love is like someone who touched a hot stove, not once, but twice, maybe more. Even if the fire's gone, the body remembers. So when you show up, solid, sincere, available, her system doesn't relax. It freaks out. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're doing everything right. And so what does she do? She retreats. Not because she doesn't care, but because she does. If I don't get too close, I can't get hurt. If I pull back now, maybe I can control the pain later. Sound familiar? Listen, here's where men usually screw it up. They chase harder. They text more. They try to fix the distance. But that only makes it worse. Why? Because pressure, no matter how well-meaning, feels like threat. Intensity feels like risk. And our whole system says, this might end badly. Protect yourself now. So what's the move? Do you disappear? Do you become cold and detached? Absolutely not. You practice practical stoicism. You become the calm in the storm. You don't chase, but you also don't punish. You remain rooted, emotionally steady, not emotionally needy. This is the heart of Stoic rules. You lead with presence, not pressure. You offer safety, not force. You stay open, but not exposed to chaos. You create space for her to breathe, without backing away in bitterness. This isn't passivity, it's strength under control. Think about this. You can't rip a flower open and call it love. You set the soil, you offer sunlight, you water with patience. And if she grows toward you, it's because she feels safe, because she chooses to. And if she doesn't, then you walk your path with dignity, because Stoic men don't beg for connection. They honor their worth and never barter it for crumbs. Don't fall into the trap of decoding every retreat as rejection. Some women run not because they feel nothing, but because they feel too much, and they're scared they won't survive the fall. So here's what you do. Set boundaries, stand firm, don't dance with chaos, don't shrink or chase. Be the lighthouse, not the lifeboat. And if you've ever seen love vanish just as it was blooming, say it loud, I don't chase chaos. That's practical stoicism in action. That's the path of wisdom. And when she's ready, when closeness no longer feels like danger, she'll remember the man who didn't flinch, didn't fold, and didn't turn love into a transaction. Stay grounded, brother. There's power in stillness, there's honor in restraint, and there's wisdom, deep stoic wisdom, in knowing when to hold steady and when to walk on. Number 6, she wants reassurance. Here's what most men don't understand. When a woman pulls back, goes cold, or tests you, it's not always rejection. Often, it's a hidden cry for reassurance, a signal she doesn't know how to express in words. She wants to feel safe. She wants to know you're still present, still grounded, still choosing her. But instead of asking directly, she watches. She watches how fast you respond, how you touch her, whether your tone has changed. She's been burned before. She doesn't trust easy. As Epictetus said, we are disturbed not by events, but by the view we take of them. What she sees matters more than what you say. Words don't mean much to her if your patterns don't match. This is stoicism in practice, showing calm strength, not reacting, but responding with presence. When she pulls back, don't take it personal. Don't retreat. Don't lash out. Don't say, why are you acting like this? That only confirms her worst fears. Instead, anchor the moment. Say, I sense something's off, and I'm here. Show her you're not leaving just because it's not easy right now. This is how you win her trust. This is how you win in relationships. This is how you win in life. Emotional composure is your power. You must hold space without fixing, lead without forcing, protect without control. That's strength. That's leadership. That's stoicism. A real man doesn't panic in uncertainty. He becomes more rooted, more aware, more present. When you show her that your presence isn't conditional, you train her nervous system to relax, to stop preparing for abandonment. And when you master this, the game changes. You stop reacting to her moods and start commanding your own energy. Don't confuse this with weakness. This is power, the kind that builds unshakable trust. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Don't be like the men who ran when it got real. Be the one who stays steady when it counts. Be the calm in the storm. That is how you lead. That is how you build something lasting. Let every cold look, every distant tone, every test be a chance to step up, not step away. That is the path. That is the win. That is stoicism. Stay grounded. Stay calm. Be the presence she didn't know how to ask for, and watch what happens." If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us. Or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. Number 7. Your reaction decides everything. Don't let the moment fool you. When a woman pulls away, when she turns cold, distant, starts testing your edges, it's tempting to think something's gone wrong, that you messed up, that she's slipping away and you've got to fix it fast. Your ego will scream. Your pride will itch. You'll want to chase, to argue, to shut down. But stop. Breathe. Because in that exact second, that pause between what happens and how you respond, you reveal everything about who you are. This is old Stoic wisdom in real time. Brother, that calm presence, that's your power. You see, most men think they've got to talk their way through tension. They believe control means chasing the good vibes back. But what Stoic principles have always taught, what real, grounded men have always known, is this control comes from within. You don't win her respect by reacting. You win it by staying steady. She's watching you, not to see if you'll perform, but to see if you'll break. She's not always trying to push you away to hurt you. Sometimes she pushes because she wants to feel safe. She wants to know, can you handle me at my worst? Can you hold your ground when I get emotional, irrational, unpredictable? Because if you can't, if you get rattled the second her mood shifts, then she knows she can't lean on you. That's why your reaction is everything. Don't flinch, don't beg, don't get petty. And for the love of strength, don't lose yourself. Be the man with the iron mind, the man who feels the chaos but doesn't let it control him. She doesn't need a knight in shining armor. She needs a rock. So when she stops texting, when her tone changes, when she picks a fight about something meaningless, don't go into panic mode. That's fear. That's insecurity. That's the death of attraction. Instead, step into your masculine calm. Say less, observe more, breathe deep, stay planted. Respond with presence, not panic. Say, I feel the distance. I'm not here to force anything. I'm here because I choose to be, not because I need your reaction to feel whole. That one line, delivered with calm certainty, says more than a dozen frantic texts ever could. It tells her I'm grounded, I'm emotionally aware, but I'm not emotionally needy. You've just embodied Stoic principles without ever quoting a philosopher, and whether she admits it or not, she'll feel the difference. She may not say thank you, she may not smile, but something inside her will shift because you didn't fold, you didn't get shaken. You showed her a rare kind of strength, the kind only a man rooted in old Stoic wisdom can project. Now flip it. What happens when you lash out, go silent, play games? You reinforce her deepest fear. This man is not safe. He only gives love when things go his way. He's not stable. He's reactive. And that, my friend, is how attraction crumbles. So don't go there. Be different. Be the storm's still center. Lead with calm. Show her that your emotions don't own you. You own them. Remember this. She's not testing for fun. She's testing for trust. Don't fail by losing your frame. Pass by holding it tighter. That's the work. That's the strength. That's the way of the iron mind. Number 8. She craves space, not distance. Let's get one thing straight. When she says I need space, she's not always walking away. Sometimes, she's just catching her breath. But here's the kicker. Most men hear I need space as I'm done with you. That's not Stoic wisdom. That's reactive fear. And fear, it ruins more relationships than honesty ever will. Stop. Breathe. Reframe. She's not rejecting you. She's not abandoning you. She's re-centering herself. This is where practical Stoicism comes in. The old Stoics understood restraint, discipline, patience, not as weakness, but as quiet strength. And that's exactly what's needed here. Space isn't distance. Learn the difference. Space is chosen, intentional, sacred. It's about preserving emotional oxygen, so you don't both suffocate. It's her way of saying, I want to stay whole, even as I stand beside you. Distance, though that's a slow emotional bleed, it's what happens when you disappear, withdraw, sulk, when you punish her for needing a moment to herself. That's not Stoic. That's insecure. Don't confuse the two. One creates clarity, the other breeds confusion. Here's what not to do. Don't panic. Don't beg. Don't text her a dozen times trying to fix something that isn't broken. And don't swing to the other extreme, either. Don't shut down. Don't ghost her to teach her a lesson. Don't turn silence into a weapon. That's not the path of wisdom. That's emotional immaturity dressed up as masculinity. So what should you do? Hold steady. Respect her request. Give her space, but not silence. Stay warm, but not needy. Be present without pressure. Say less, mean more. You don't need to vanish to prove your strength. You don't need to hover to prove your love. Stand in the center, solid, calm, attuned. That's practical Stoicism in action. When she sees that you're not shaken, that you trust her without needing to control her, she exhales. She feels safe. And believe me, safety is sexy. Let's go deeper. Some women grew up with their emotions under surveillance. They were told needing solitude meant being cold. So now, even in a good relationship, the need for space feels guilty, dangerous, shameful. But when you, a grounded, steady man, give her space without making it about you, you're not just being kind, you're being revolutionary. You're saying you can be you, and I won't flinch. That rewrites something ancient in her nervous system. It teaches her that love doesn't have to smother, that closeness and individuality can live in the same room. That's rare. That's unforgettable. Look, she may not put it into words, but she'll feel it in her bones. She'll remember that you didn't crack when she needed air, that you stood tall when the old ghost showed up. And when she returns, she'll come back with more love, more clarity, more respect for you as a man. Here's a metaphor for you. Love is like holding water. Clutch it too tight. It slips through your fingers. Hold it gently, with trust, with presence, and it stays. So next time she says, I need space, don't hear goodbye. Hear growth, hear self, care, hear love evolving. Don't react, respond. Be the man who respects the pause, the man who honours her space without turning it into distance. Because when you master this, you're not just following a trend, you're walking the paths of wisdom, you're living by Stoic rules, you're becoming the kind of man women trust with both their heart and their solitude. If you've made it this far, you're not just listening, you're learning what real strength looks like. Most men panic when she asks for space, but not you. You're choosing calm over chaos, wisdom over ego. That's rare. That's powerful. Comment below. I choose calm, not control. I stand strong in the pause. Let the world know you're not here to chase. You're here to lead with presence. Number 9. Her body pulls back. Her heart leans in. Master this or lose her forever. Listen closely. This is one of the most confusing signals a man can ever face. One day, she's soft, warm, open. The next, she's distant, less responsive, not cold, but definitely different. She pulls back. Fewer texts, less affection. Her energy changes. It messes with your mind, but you must understand. This isn't a sign to panic. It's a signal to rise. Just because her body withdraws doesn't mean her heart is gone. In fact, it often means the exact opposite. Her heart is leaning in, hard. But she's scared. Deep connection triggers old pain. Her nervous system remembers betrayal, heartbreak, abandonment. And when she starts to feel too much, too soon, fear steps in. She pulls away, not because she doesn't care, but because she does deeply. Epictetus once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This is that moment. Her mind is fighting her heart, and you must not fight her fear. You must stand through it, steady, grounded, like a man trained in Stoicism. A man who chooses to win through patience, not panic. Don't chase, don't beg, don't let your ego run the show. Most men fail this test because they can't hold the line. They smother, they withdraw, they react, and in doing so, they confirm her fear, that closeness means pressure, not peace. But you must be different. You hold the frame. You stay strong, composed, rooted in purpose. You read between the lines. You hear what her silence is screaming. Help me feel safe without caging me. When you do that, when you stand tall in the storm, everything changes. She starts to trust the moment, trust herself, trust you. Her walls soften, her heart opens. She returns, not because you chased, but because you didn't. You became the place where she could rest. That's power. That's wisdom. That's the man who lives by the ancient truths of Stoicism, the man who knows how to win without forcing, to lead without fear. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Her retreat is not your defeat. It's your call to mastery. Rise to it. If you've ever wanted something deeply but flinched at the edge, a career move, a truth, a love, then you know what she's feeling. So lead with calm strength, with grounded presence. Be the mirror that reflects peace, not pressure, love, without losing control. Let her learn that not every man runs when things get quiet. Let her see you, not just as a man, but as a force, a shelter, a stormbreaker. So let me tell you directly, you must hold steady. You must lead from strength. You must embody the truth of Epictetus. This is how Stoicism wins. This is how you win. Number 10. She's not running from you. She's running from real. Let's close with the kind of truth that doesn't get shouted in flashy reels or self-help threads. This is the quiet kind of truth, the kind that punches you in the gut because it's been hiding in plain sight. A truth not just about her fears of heartbreak or abandonment, but something even more unsettling. She's not afraid you'll hurt her. She's afraid you won't. that you're actually real. And that scares her more than any red flag ever could. Real love, it's terrifying. Because real love demands real risk. It dares her to feel again. And that takes a kind of courage most people aren't ready to admit they lack. Now you might think, wait, I am the man she said she wanted. I'm calm. I'm grounded. I show up. Why would that scare her? Here's where old Stoic wisdom peeks through the curtain. The more solid and real you become, the more your iron mind stays calm under pressure, the more she starts to feel things she's tried to bury for years. Disappointment, betrayal, grief. Those wounds don't just vanish. And when you arrive with no mask, no angle, no performance, you stir it all up. See, most women, just like most men, have been burned. By players, by ghosts, by men who said the right thing and did the opposite. So she's built armor, not just against bad men, but against good ones too. Because the good ones, the real ones, the ones who carry stoic principles like a compass, they force her to confront the terrifying question, what if I've been wrong about love all this time? And that's where she starts to test you. She might pull away, get quiet, pick a fight over something ridiculous. She's not being cruel. She's scared. Scared that you'll leave, or worse, that you won't. Because if you're the one who actually stays, then she has to drop the story that all men walk away. And that story, as painful as it is, has kept her safe. So don't take the tests personally. See through them. Don't flinch. Don't chase. Don't correct her. Just hold steady. That's when your power has to be deeper than charm. When your strength isn't loud, it's unshakable. That's iron mind. That's old Stoic wisdom. You don't lose your center when she spins. You don't disappear when she panics. You don't meet her chaos with chaos. You hold the line with calm clarity, not control. That's what Stoic strength is: presence without punishment, boundaries without rage, truth without ego. And no, that doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. You're not her emotional sponge. You are her mirror. You show her what safe feels like, not by fixing her, but by not flinching when she falters. That's how you become the reference point, the standard, the man she'll never forget, not because you chased her, but because you stood firm when everything else in her life told her to run. And here's the kicker. You don't do this to win her. You don't do it to earn her love. You do it because that's who you are. You don't need her to clap for your presence. You are the presence. You live by Stoic principles. You carry your truth like armor, not a weapon. You don't perform. You don't prove. You just are. So if she pulls away right when it starts getting real, don't spiral. Don't blame yourself. Don't rewrite your worth. Understand this. It wasn't that you weren't enough. It might have been that, for the first time in a long time, she saw something real, and real scared the hell out of her. Thanks for watching, brother. Here's the bottom line. When a woman pulls away, it's not always rejection. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's her testing to see if you'll stay grounded when emotions run high. That's where you lead, not by chasing, but by standing firm. So here's my advice to you. Don't react, respond. Don't doubt yourself. Stay steady. That calm, centered strength. That's what separates a man from a boy. Drop this in the comments. I choose to stay steady. Let that be your reminder, not just to her, but to yourself, of the kind of man you've become. If this resonated with you, share it. Come back to it when you forget who you are, because this isn't just about women. It's about you becoming the man you're meant to be. Take care of yourself, stay sharp, stay steady, and I'll see you in the next one.